So it's been a long time since I last did a video like this because, I sort of decided that I felt there was no need to be making sort of advice giving videos because I feel like the internet is littered with advice. And if anyone wanted any advice, there's no shortage of that. So I thought, I should just have some fun on the internet. But I think I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind about that because really I think there is need to say what I have to say because there is a community of people that need exactly what I have to say. And what I'm about to say will piss a lot of you off. So I don't know, maybe you should sit down or something before you continue watching this video. So I feel like what's going on right now is mental health pandemic, total breakdown of masculinity. And this is born out of the education system, technology, the social media technology. The education system raised the men of this generation. Basically, like, the formal education, the way we have it now, at least for those of us from Nigeria, like between 19 maybe 80s and and now from 1980s up, that's where this sort of structure that we now have was introduced. And what did it teach men? It taught men to behave well, be kind, speak politely, be in line, just conform. That type of training, that's what the education system that we have now introduced. And what is it? What has it cost? Total. I watched the Wiki video with the military guy, and something struck me. Many of you that watched that video, I'm not sure you noticed what was actually going on. Do you know what would happen if the men of any society, the young men of any society, decide to say enough? If the men of any society decide to say enough and they stand up, people like Mwike will run. I mean, it's an illusion to think that, oh, Mwike is powerful. All those politicians, I don't want to call out their names. They are not powerful. The power you think they have is power they have because of the young men that they control. So the problem of every society, even in Nigeria, is actually just if a group of young men. If you go to the east, they say sit at home. Who is enforcing that sit at home? Just a group of young men. Some people in the whole southeast have never actually come across those IPOP people and all that are saying sit at home. It's just the idea of them that is making people sit at home. So a few young men are able to hold the whole society at ransom. What do you think would happen if the majority, the overwhelming majority of young men that are just laissez-faire now, that have been taught in school to behave well, do this, do that, if that overwhelming majority get angry and say what, the society will immediately fix. Which is why I think this whole education system was engineered this way, to actually cripple the man. And that's what we're suffering now. Everything as a young man that you are feeling inside you and that is seeking expression, those exact same things are what society now are telling you not to do and that you will be punished for. You want to fight, you want to build, You want to be aggressive. You want to. This is natural to you. But now you go to school, you and your friend, you guys play, somebody gets hurt, you get beaten. And I'm not saying people should destroy things and all. No. Before this education system we have now, society was more or less structureless. I'm an Igbo guy, don't mind my R. Structureless. So what people spent their time doing was work. So as a young man, you earned your respect from how much work you could do. That was it. And because of the structure then, the family system was not compromised at all, because like since life depends on physical labor, there was no question. Wives submitted smoothly without too much drama to their husbands, because as far as labor and physical work was concerned, there was no question that the man was the one who was more capable and would easily get things done. We live in an economy now where it's social media, talk, talk, talk. And guess who runs the talk economy? It is women that run the talk economy. Okay, now let me talk about this one. You guys are not going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway. The, one of the current drama going on in Nigeria now is the one about Regina Daniels and the husband. And I see people online, Regina this, Regina that, Regina this. What that girl needs is to go back to her husband's house and behave like a wife. I'm not saying the blame that Ned has here is going to marry such a young person. That's the blame. A man who is providing for your children and taking care of you, protecting you, has done his job. In fact, even more so when you decide to go into a polygamous marriage, you're not the first wife, you're not the second. You're like third or so. I don't know all the information, and I'm not really supposed to know. By the time you decide to go and marry a man who already had like two wives, and this man elevates you and provides for you, takes care of you, as far as we know, you are well taken care of. And then you come online and you start to disrespect your husband and blah, blah, blah. And we have a society that's cheering you on and clapping and saying, this is just a total decay. I don't. My parents have what I would consider a successful marriage. Have had what I consider a successful marriage, or are having what I consider a successful marriage. But I remember like all the crises that my parents had as we were growing up. Now, if I think of this era, assuming they had the type of technologies that we have now, maybe my mom would have gone online and said something, and the end result would have been that family would have broken apart. Us, their children, who are now doing very well, would have our foundation would have been just taken from under us and would just collapse, because maybe my mom would have said something, blah blah blah, family would just break apart. We will end up not going to school the way we went to school. We'll end up not being disciplined the way we're disciplined and all that. No. Now people are just so selfish. And when I say people are just so selfish, this is now a woman run economy. You go online and you talk, 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 talk. You're talking about your husband. A woman who does not succeed with such an elderly man is the problem, not the man. This man already had multiple wives and he was already a billionaire. And yet we didn't even know about him. There was no drama, there was nothing. All of a sudden, you show up with all kinds of drama. Your mom is supposed to be telling you, Mom, go back to your husband's house. People are talking about violence. Are you guys I'm trying to keep my words down. But to think that a 60 something year old man is physically stronger than like a 24, 25-year old girl is crazy. Like, I'm not, I don't, did you guys suspend your thinking or what? And this is all part of what I'm saying, that we have a society that is suffering from mental pandemic. Back to Wike and the military guy. See what happens when, for some reason, the structure aligns and a young man is able to stand up. Man, that's the end. Like, things just happened to align. You see, your almighty Wike had no choice. He had to, like, the guy stood his ground. I am not a fool, sir. I am not a fool. I have integrity. Everything we everything going on here is legal. You guys have no grounds to do whatever you are here to do. And I am not moving. At the end of the day, let me tell you, the only reason Wike did not physically slap the guy was because this is how the brain of men work. We assess who we are dealing with. The moment you have man to man interaction, everybody will assess their position, their level of risk, and behave accordingly. Because anytime you're dealing with a young man, the truth is that by default, you're risking physical violence. Like, you're risking, do this and I will do that. Or if you don't do this, I will do that. Of course, I'm not saying you should go about being violent. No, you should obey the law. You should do X, Y, Z, do everything right. But the point is that the way society has taught men to grow is not the way men are designed to grow. It is not. And therefore, we are just suffering from something we should not be suffering for. If the society maintained the proper structure, which is where the men are where they're supposed to be and the women where they're supposed to be, we will all enjoy. In fact, the progress we have now, which is what's ruining things, is actually a result of the success that have been created up to this point. And they say, strong men, how is it say? Strong men make good times, or bad times make strong men. Strong men make good times, and good times make weak men. And that is the sort of thing we are dealing with right now. We are living in such beautiful times. Everything is good. There is no war. Wow, there's relatively no war. There is People are fairly safe. Blah blah blah. Therefore, it seems now to society, to the women, that what do we need men for? It's not like this is a conscious thought. It's subconscious. You break your family. You don't care about your children. You're all about your right, you're right, you're right. You're never about responsibility. That guy stood his ground and told me, "Okay, I have integrity, sir. I am not a fool." At the end of the day, Wike could only shout. Wike would have slapped that guy if he thought he was physically stronger. Or plus, if also, like, there are other things that could have happened. The guy was a military guy. The guy not backing down sort of gave Wike the hint. Who knows within the strong this guy mind, that kind of thing. So there was also some moral background that gave the guy confidence. If the young men of any society rise, it's my boy that's making noise. So now, as a young man, you must, I believe that by this point of this video, you understand that I'm making this video for you. When things are not working for you and you're sitting down crying, feeling pity for yourself, are you okay? Our job is not to feel pity for ourselves. That's not our job. Like, is that the behavior you think I will let you marry my daughter? Or like, will you let somebody like you marry your daughter? Oh, it's just, the society is bad. What can we do about it? I'm really angry. Like, but you see now, because I have to be nice. I have to be nice. So I'm picking my words because of the times we live in. In under a different situation, I would not be picking my words. I'll tell you exactly the way I think it is. But I have to be nice now. I hope you are enjoying my niceness. But please, enough. Enough. You sit down, fold your hands, and be feeling pity for yourself. The people you are scared of is just a few. Like, let me give this thing as a proportion. Consider it this way: you have a society of men. Let's say there is a total of 100 men that exist in this society. The people holding the whole society at ransom are like 2%, 1%. So 0.1%. And guess who those people are? They're actually the rascals that did not go to school. At the top of it all, actually, are educated people. But some of these the people who are leading these gangs now are pre 1980 people. Are pre 1980, which like the era where real men were made. Now we have baby men, nice men, boyish. That Go and check the ages of Abacha, Babangida, Obasanjo, Agi Ronsi. Go and check their ages, and you see how men used to look like. And did we have? Did, I don't know. Growing up in where you grew up, did you have a lot of cases of men maltreating their wives? No, because when the society follows the correct structure, which is men running things, men hold each other accountable. If a man, is what is it called? Violent. If a man is being violent or like maltreating the wife, men will hold him to account. He will lose his position in the rank of men. Everybody will make fun of him. Nobody will cheer him on. So harsh. No. If the structure is intact and you're beating your wife, the community of men will just ostracize you completely. I grew up in the Igbo land, and I believe this is the same thing we have across all the other places. And the other was how you showed that, how you earned respect was how you treated your wife. Like, the how you show that you're a rich man is when people look at your wife. If a wife looks well taken care of, that's how you as a man earned respect in such society. But now in this feminine economy that we are in now, people cheer women on that break their homes. How do, I think it's crazy. I just think it is crazy. So maybe you are pissed at me right now, or maybe you're not. But I'm going to be talking about more and more of these things. There are crazy, crazy things going on. There are not so good things going on. And what I think and what I believe and what I know will happen is at some point, some of us are going to wake up. And when we wake up, that is the end. The way as a man that you will ever start to feel like a man is when you start living in your proper frame. You be a good leader in your house. You take care of your wife. You provide for your children. Your children cannot be litter just all over the street without any care or being provided for. No. And that is the order, the correct one. These crazy politicians, who is one state governor? Do you know how many boys, young men, that a typical state has? The state governor no reach. He will behave. Part of the reason, like you see, America, it seems to be working, right? But it is really, in my opinion, because people have guns. So, and that what guns is doing for them is what young men do for society where there are no guns. What it means is a typical American is dangerous. Like there is nobody you can just say, what can you do to in America? No, you cannot. Therefore, you tend to control yourself. Anybody you are dealing with, you have basic respect because you don't want to anger the person to the point where the person says, eh, whatever will happen, let it happen. Because the person can actually do something. If you come to a society where the men are awake, it means the society can do something. You will not have a politician that will say, do you know how lucky this state is to have me? You guys don't even know how lucky you are to have me. Or if I'm me, the governor, I'm calling off the strike. And if any of you that does not go to work tomorrow, I'll fire him. If you had a society that if the boys will catch that man and just let me maybe I'm not sure some of you have smiled in a long time. Let me make you smile. Just picture your state governor where boys catch him, beat him. Who can stand against young men that are angry?